Before we embark on our thrilling video adventure, we'd like to hear from our fantastic viewers. Have you ever experienced a bone-chilling horror story that sent shivers down your spine? We're eager to listen. Share your most terrifying tale with us by emailing the address below. Your story might just be featured in an upcoming video, ensuring your nightmare becomes a part of our gripping journey. So, sit tight, fasten your seatbelts, and prepare for an electrifying experience. But before we start, don't forget to send us your tales of horror. And now, let's all enjoy the video together. I want to tell you about a time when something strange happened to me. I decided to go on a little vacation to South Carolina. I found a place to stay on Airbnb, a big old mansion called Willowbrook. The house had a spooky reputation, and I didn't know what I was getting into. As I arrived at Willowbrook, the sun was setting. The mansion looked huge, like it had been there for a long time. The place felt eerie, but I thought it was just my imagination. A couple named Tom and Margaret owned the house. They were nice, but they seemed worried. Tom said, "Don't go to the east wing of the house. There's something bad there." I asked, "What's in the east wing?" Margaret sighed and said, "There's a bad history in that part of the house. It's better if you don't go there." I was curious, and the mystery of the east wing made me want to check it out. After dinner, I decided to explore. As I walked through the house, the paintings on the walls caught my eye. They showed people from the past, and they looked so sad and scared. It gave me the creeps, but I tried to ignore it. Later, when night fell, strange things began happening. Whispering voices echoed through the house. I heard moans and saw shadowy figures. It felt like the house was watching me. I was scared, but I didn't know what to do. Then, the worst part happened. I found myself in front of the east wing again. The door creaked open by itself, and I stepped inside. The room was full of old things like creepy dolls and weird books. In the center was an old mirror covered in dust. I couldn't look away from the mirror. It started showing me terrible things. Faces twisted in pain and sad voices crying out. I tried to move, but it was like I was stuck in place. The spirits from the past trapped me, and I was terrified. Just when I thought I was done for, my friend Sarah came to the rescue. She broke the mirror, and the spirits screamed as they disappeared. We ran from the east wing, breathless and scared. But the house wasn't finished with us. The night got worse. We saw more ghosts, heard more whispers, and the house seemed alive with evil. It was like a never-ending nightmare. We ended up back in the east wing, and the mirror was whole again. It called us closer, trying to trap us. But we remembered what happened before, and we broke the mirror once more. The spirits vanished, and the house finally went quiet. As the sun came up, we knew we had survived something terrible. Tom and Margaret looked at us with relief. They knew we had faced the dark history of their house. The lesson we learned from this horrifying night is simple. Some mysteries are best left alone. Sometimes, it's better not to explore places that seem strange or dangerous. Curiosity can lead to awful things. We left Willowbrook Mansion with heavy hearts, but we also left with a valuable piece of advice. Be careful about what you want to know, and don't let your curiosity lead you into darkness. Let me tell you about a weekend that changed my life. A group of my closest friends and I decided to take a peaceful trip to the White Mountains National Forest Preserve in New Hampshire. We found the perfect Airbnb, a cabin tucked away in the woods, and we couldn't wait for a relaxing getaway. As we arrived, the sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows through the dense trees. The cabin looked cozy, nestled among the tall pines. We were excited and didn't sense any danger. Little did we know our peaceful retreat would soon turn into a terrifying nightmare. The cabin was charming, with a rustic feel that added to the sense of seclusion. The air was crisp, and the scent of pine trees filled our lungs. It seemed like the ideal place to escape the chaos of everyday life. The first evening was perfect. We laughed, shared stories, and cooked dinner together. We played card games and felt like we were in a movie, away from the rest of the world. But as night fell, things started to get strange. A series of eerie events began to unfold. First, we heard footsteps outside, crunching on the leaves. We dismissed it as an animal and tried to enjoy the night. But then we saw them, strange figures lurking in the woods. They were distant, their features hidden in the darkness, but their presence sent chills down our spines. We locked the doors and windows, our laughter turning into nervous whispers. We tried to rationalize what we had seen, but it was hard to shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. That night, as we lay in our beds, strange noises echoed through the cabin, whispers that we couldn't understand, and the sound of something moving in the shadows. We huddled together, fear coursing through us, and barely slept a wink. The next morning, we decided to explore the woods to ease our fears. Maybe it was just our imagination playing tricks on us. As we ventured deeper into the forest, we discovered an old, dilapidated cabin. It was far from our cozy Airbnb, hidden and forgotten. Inside, we found unsettling drawings on the walls, depicting eerie figures and cryptic symbols. The air grew heavy, with a sense of dread. We quickly left the cabin, but it felt like a darkness had attached itself to us. Inside, we found unsettling drawings on the walls depicting eerie figures and cryptic symbols. The air grew heavy with a sense of dread. We quickly left the cabin, but it felt like a darkness had attached itself to us. That evening, the strange figures returned, and this time they were closer. Their eyes gleamed in the moonlight, filled with an otherworldly malice. We knew we had to leave, but our car had been tampered with, the tires slashed. We were trapped. The figures advanced, and we could feel their malevolence. Panic consumed us as we desperately searched for a way out. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, a powerful gust of wind blew through the cabin, extinguishing all the lights. In the darkness, we heard a chilling whisper, "Leave this place." With the last of our strength, we rushed outside, abandoning our belongings. We ran through the woods, guided only by the moonlight, and eventually reached a nearby road where we found help. The police arrived, but when they searched the cabin, they found nothing. We left that horrifying place with a lesson we'll never forget. Sometimes it's better to trust your instincts and leave when things feel wrong. The woods can hold ancient secrets and strange forces beyond our understanding. We were lucky to escape, but not everyone may be as fortunate. If you ever find yourself in a situation that doesn't feel right, don't hesitate to seek safety. It's better to be safe than sorry. Let me tell you a story that still haunts my dreams. It was a weekend like any other when my friends and I decided to escape to Carroll, New Hampshire. We found an Airbnb cabin nestled in the woods, the perfect place for a peaceful getaway. But what started as an idyllic retreat soon turned into a horrifying encounter with the unknown. As we arrived at the cabin, the sun was setting, casting long shadows through the dense trees that surrounded the property. The cabin seemed like something out of a postcard, charming and quaint. We couldn't have been more excited about our stay. Our Airbnb host, a kindly older woman named Eliza, greeted us warmly. She handed us the keys and said, "Enjoy your stay and don't wander too far into the woods at night. There are stories, you know." We chuckled, thinking Eliza was trying to add a sense of mystery to our stay. Little did we know, her words would soon become chillingly real. The first evening was perfect. We lit a fire in the cozy cabin, shared stories, and cooked dinner together. The night air was crisp, and the cabin's warmth filled us with a sense of peace. But as darkness fell, things took a sinister turn. We heard strange noises coming from the woods, rustling leaves and faint whispers that we couldn't quite make out. At first, we dismissed them as the sounds of nature, but they persisted and grew louder, more distinct. Our laughter turned into nervous hushes, and our joy began to fade. The cabin's windows and doors were securely locked, or so we thought, but as the night wore on, we realized something was amiss. The locks had been tampered with, and the door to the cabin was ajar. Panic set in as we quickly secured the cabin once more. We decided to investigate the source of the strange noises. As we ventured into the woods with flashlights, we stumbled upon an old, dilapidated shack. It was decrepit, covered in moss and decay. Inside, we found cryptic symbols etched into the walls and eerie drawings that depicted figures in agony. The air grew colder, and a sense of dread washed over us. We fled the shack, but it felt like the darkness had attached itself to us. Back in the cabin, we heard sinister laughter from the shadows and whispers in the walls. The presence was malevolent, and we felt trapped in a nightmare. The air grew colder, and a sense of dread washed over us. We fled the shack, but it felt like the darkness had attached itself to us. Back in the cabin, we heard sinister laughter from the shadows and whispers in the walls. The presence was malevolent, and we felt trapped in a nightmare. As the night deepened, the cabin seemed to come alive with malicious intent. The walls closed in on us, and the atmosphere became oppressive. We huddled together, fear gnawing at our hearts. Just when it seemed like the cabin would consume us, a chilling voice echoed through the room. "Leave this place before it's too late." With a surge of adrenaline, we made a desperate dash for the door. The voice grew louder, urging us to escape. We left behind our belongings and ran through the woods until we reached a nearby road, where we found help. The police searched the cabin but found no signs of intruders. Eliza, our Airbnb host, was nowhere to be found. The terror that had gripped us was inexplicable. As we reflected on the harrowing experience, we realized that sometimes it's best to heed the warnings, even if they seem superstitious. Trust your instincts and leave a place that doesn't feel right. The woods can hold secrets and darkness that defy explanation, and it's important to prioritize your safety. We left Carroll, New Hampshire, forever changed by the horrors we had witnessed. The lesson we learned was clear. There are places in this world where the line between reality and the supernatural is thin, and it's wiser to choose safety over curiosity.